successful life and career is get educated, get a skill. And not everybody has to go to college. Lots of skills that we need from internships, apprenticeship programs, but it's a good initiative.
Good paying jobs out there for
yes.
Absolutely skills, worker skills,
Absolutely.
Welding.
Yep, we'll see how that evolves.
Trade school.
And then we did get a visit in a committee of the whole meeting after the board meeting last time. And a lot of it is not idle speculation. They look and say, okay, here's the makeup, here's what is going to change, and we all hear that all the time, and we hear all of the angst, and people are ascribing conclusions that haven't occurred. Right? We know that some things will happen, and it's not that this is going to just be a wholesale change. I think there will be more thoughtfulness to it. So it presents opportunities. If more jobs can occur, we keep more people in this country, reinvigorate manufacturing. Right? There's a debate, but to not, as much as it's fairly simple, don't just cower in fear. Right? Engage. So find out what might happen, where it might actually benefit us, depending on what it is. But if we can move the economy back to a 3 to 4% kind of a growth rate, it's huge. I mean, it's an enormous change from 1.5% to 2% that we've been living with. And it benefits, that trickles all the way down. You get new houses here. When we look at our own budget, it says if we can reinvigorate those jobs, we get people, and we know DMC is here, but nothing happens as fast as you think it will. But all that growth, those new buildings, commercial or residential, go toward reducing or minimizing any impact that all of the jurisdictions have on property taxes, because that revenue didn't exist the year before. So if you have a 5 or 6% levy increase, and you have 4 or 5% growth, you're not going to see much. And it's generally good. You can complain about it going up a little bit, but market values go up, which means that if you choose to move or get an opportunity, you can actually make some money on the house.
Trouble is, your property taxes go up and the valuations go up.
Yeah, right. They go up a fairly small percentage against what the evaluation is. So if you sell it, it'd be nice. So it was an interesting discussion. We talked about Health and Human Services. I said we're not sure exactly where that's going to go. Affordable Care Act and healthcare is really a lot of speculation. It was certainly not just going to throw the thing out. They will
keeping certain aspects, and then really nothing else is
aspects
revealed.
About the fines that we're going to kick in, the Cadillac plans. Those you can simply stop and say, don't do that. It's already expensive enough. We've had problems with the program, so let's stop those things that are set to kick in, and now let's hopefully thoughtfully go through and say, okay, what should I keep? What should I change? How should I modify the system to get it more competitive, to really control the costs, because we know it's going up. We all read it and hear people that are paying. I know a friend that health insurance, besides the deductible, which is obscene, is $2,900 a month. It's almost half their income. And so the state, when they try to implement, which they're having a great deal of trouble with, trying to agree on the specifics of how the rebate or what it is. But again, you realize it's just one-time money. It's just this year. So pass it, deliver it. Say, okay, they get kind of a break, so they get a reimbursement. But that doesn't go forward. That's not law. It's just using some of the surplus, quote unquote, that we have, and there are a great many demands. So everybody's kind of terribly worried about what might happen, and I keep telling people, I say, look, get up the next day, go to work. It's going to be okay. Right? We seem to want to prepare people, terror. The world's going to end. Right? Chicken Little kind of stuff, and it just never does happen.
Trying to instill fear in everybody.
Well, there are two senators I see yesterday, U.S. senators, talking about maybe repealing Obamacare, or at least parts of it, and then turning the program over to the states to run.
And made more competitive,
and
et cetera.
Would you even need a mentor program to do that? Go back to what we used to have, Minnesota Care.
Yeah, and something in that vein, in that ilk, and say, okay, let's reconstitute
and then
that.
To even go even a little more, let the counties figure out what they want to run. You know, you said we've had a pretty good run here in Olmsted County.
You'd like to not be punished for doing something really well. And the classic example right now is on child protection. When they had the incident up in Polk County, so this horrible incident, and it's tragic. They didn't have the staff. It's a small county, and so the state feels compelled to put a task force together and come up with 92 or 93 changes to the child protection system that should be implemented across the board. So you sit here and say, okay, Olmsted County is traditionally held up as a leader in the state. We're copied and held up by many entities that say you should do it their way. We have a good system that does all of that today, has not had a problem. But the state paints everybody with the same brush. And so all it does is add cost where cost is unnecessary in that vein. So you say, why do you do this? Look at the system and say, okay, this is a problem because of its size, lack of expertise. So how can we provide them with the right level of expertise shared from other counties or whatever it is to be able to do that? And so you go after the outliers. You don't go after the people that are doing it right, which is the vast majority of the state. But every one of those rules typically brings cost down to the local level. So that's what you hope to avoid. So now look at federal, extend that to federal and say, if it works and they reduce regulation, they give you more local control, which is what, weak central government, strong local government. I'd rather be able to cross the street and talk to my representative, city councilman, county board member and have some, and know that they have some impact on what I'm asking them, as opposed to saying, I have to follow the law, here's the law, I don't have a lot of choice. I was at a meeting, another lobbyist group that we use from in the state, and the guest speaker was Tom Bach for dinner this weekend, Friday night up in Duluth. We had an annual meeting. And it was really refreshing. He's in the minority now, so maybe you can talk a little freer. But an interesting point that he made, which on this pre-K, right? 4-year-olds going into provided by the school district, which would make it free. He said the interesting thing is you look at that and say, okay, who's not going to take free? And you're going to hurt. Number one, 2 questions. Are 4-year-olds really ready to go into a rigorous kind of learning space versus creative play, socialization, and so on, which is what a lot of preschool and daycare centers provide. But if they go and they lose that 4-year-old population, what are you going to do to all those people that have daycares, nursery schools, and so on? He said the impact is enormous. And the other problem is most of the school districts don't have the space. So you got to either build, right? So you got to spend more money to do this.
Hire more people.
You're going to hurt, right? And you can maybe hire some of those people that are doing it, depending on the licensing requirements and so on. So all these things, very interesting discussion. Never thought of it. Said, maybe he's right.
Yeah.
But isn't the reason for those supporting that to give access to all kids?
It is, but there's a lot of ways that you can help with that. So if you want to get all those kids in, then help with scholarships and subsidies to get them into, full-day programs that allow the parents to get out and work, find good jobs, followed by maintaining that facility.
Which you would think would be less expense to the state because it's not universal.
I would think
it's just,
so.
You're aiming that money at people who need it.
Who need it. So you have eligibility requirements, and you vet them, and you say, yep, you're eligible.
282-1234 is our phone number. Our lines are pretty quiet. Everybody's happy with the count.
Well, that's good. I'd like to take credit for that, but I probably shouldn't. That may generate a few calls if I did that.
There's been I was at the city council committee meeting last week, and it wasn't on the agenda, but it came up. There was some discussion about the city planning department, which is actually city county.
Right.
Is there talk of splitting the two?
There's.
It's been around for a long time, right?
It's been around a long, long time. And there is a debate that occurs relative to adequate staffing. I mean, right now, most of the staff is dedicated to the city of Rochester. It is in the county budget because, everybody's in the county. And so this is not a universally held opinion within the county board or city council. But there are people that say, I'm not getting it. So, okay, tell me, what are those things that you are not getting? And is that something planning should be doing? And then let's talk about staffing and how we share that cost. So all valid conversations. But yes, there are some people who get pretty excited. And I'm asking, okay, tell me exactly what Mitzi Baker's department is not accomplishing or that they're too far behind on. We know that the comprehensive plan has taken longer, but it's a big job. DMC has not kicked off like a rocket, like everybody seemed to anticipate, which when I talked to people, when this thing first came around, I said, this will take time. It takes time to get organized planning, get projects designed, engineered, and then you start to kick them off. And I think this year you'll begin to see, 3 or 4 major projects in this city that will start to begin to jumpstart at DMC, start to bring in the employees. Searching for employees is going to be an interesting fight too. Workforce is going to be a huge issue. And then housing.
Already is.
It
is an issue.
I listened to Steve the other week, I guess.
Earlier this week, or last Friday.
And I see Steve very articulately done. And so we're engaged from the HRA with the foundation to say, in bottom line, people need a place to lay down at night. You can help them with all kinds of things, but if they can't afford to sleep or have to commute too far, then they will not take the job. They'll figure something else out. And we need those people desperately in all categories.
Not everybody's going to come in and make $100,000.
Not everybody. Maybe us, maybe you guys, and but that's probably unlikely too.
Slightly.
Well, just getting back briefly to that planning issue. I guess one of the arguments somebody made was it was years ago when the city decided to part ways with the county for its emergency management services.
Yeah.
And now they say maybe the time has come to Olmsted has its own planning in the city because the needs are different.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the debate. They said, okay, if it's not safe, if it's simply a matter of adequately staffing it, let's figure out how we adequately staff it and fund it. If you believe that there's really no overlap between these functions and you want to try to split it, I can tell you right now there is no appetite on the county board for splitting it. And I don't know what the appetite on the council, but I don't think there's a majority, of 4 votes on the council that says let's split this thing. So at this point, there's some emotion, pretty raw. Overshadowing that is the DMC, the growth, the projections, and everything else, right? Well, it's not happening. We got a lot of consultant studies, a lot of planning going on that will naturally occur. So let's see. Let's back off just a little bit and say, what are those things? So list them. What isn't getting done? What do you think is not getting done? Let's agree on that and say, okay, we'll staff it. But there hasn't been loud discussion about taking it apart.
Well, that was the first public discussion I think that I've heard. I guess there's been some talk here and there, but it's the first time it came up like in a setting like that.
Right.
Let's take some phone calls. We got a couple of callers on hold this morning. Hi, you're on the air for Ken Brown. Go ahead.
Morning. Yeah. No. You know what?
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate the call and the comments and the questions. Just to go after it, I have no idea what the U.S. population is, but the projections for the next 20 years or so here are that the county could get to, the city could get to about 170,000 or so. Nowhere near consumes the county. There will be a county. The county could be maybe 200 some thousand. Rochester would certainly get bigger. So no, I don't. There will still be a county government, and even if it was the entire county was cities like Hennepin or Ramsey, that you still run jails, you still do the detention side, you still do warrants, you still do
public service
type things. Yep. So that's kind of the projection right now, and it's not like throwing darts against the wall. I mean, these people really do look at this carefully. The demographers do understand a great deal of it. So that's kind of the expectation. So 170, 180, 180,000 in the city, and then commensurate, another 25% above that in the county.
All right, one more call. Hi, you're on the air. Go ahead.
He looks fine. He looks just fine.
Nice comments. Yeah, he looks great. It's just
you guys are eyesight.
Yeah, who is that guy?
Yeah, he finally got a little voice. Okay. Yeah.
But I think there are, and I think there are rules and guidelines on that. I know with both the police chief and the sheriff have both commented. I think it's a state law.
No, it is right now. You can review it. That is part of the state statute, the way the law evolved. So,
but it's a good point, though. To write a report and then have an amended report separate.
Right.
After viewing the video, if there are any changes.
When you know that the video captures the raw event, right? What was said, what was there, and so on. And I've looked at this, you kind of debate it all you want. Right now, it is, you can view it. So we know how unreliable, and in a high stress, tense situation like that, eyewitness, even a cop who is trained to be very observant and look, can certainly misinterpret and miss things that, and then
or not see something.
The camera picks up things that never seem visible to the naked eye.
I appreciate the comment, and it has been debated. Right now, it has fallen down on the side of
viewing,
and making a very accurate report about what the incident was all about.
Ken, we are out of time.
What's your next meeting? 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's not next.
You guys are getting a big break here.
Yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It's one of those 3 week things. And then it's, every 2 weeks. So February 4th, I think. No, that's Super Bowl.
February 7th.
February 4th is a Saturday.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So the 7th. All right. Well, we'll see you later on.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you very much.
Ken Brown, Olmsted County Commissioner on KROC-AM. It's 2 minutes before 9 o'clock. Winter storm warning gets underway about 6 o'clock tonight. So no ribbon cutting expected anyway, but expect some snow to show up to 6 to 9 inches by the time it ends on Wednesday evening. Right now it's 34 at KROC.
Yeah, it was. This is at the end of their regular stuff, and Steve was trying to set up something. He's saying,
Wojcik is pushing.
Yeah, your name come up. He said, "Well, Michael, do you want me to set up a meeting with Commissioner Brown?" He goes, rah, 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 and he just it sounds like he's kind of behind it. He goes, "We need our own," and Steve's almost arguable. And then so Randy kind of got involved. He said, "Well, it'd be nice. We don't want to have these meetings where people are yelling. Can we just?" And Steve was pushing to have you two meet.
Well, he has.
And he goes, "Oh, I didn't."